Please don't forget subscribe to the channel and hit the bell to get notified of new daily videos.
My grandfather, Mr. Sinclair, was always an odd one. An inventor, or so he called himself, though most of his creations were more akin to elaborate curiosities than functional gadgets. When he finally passed away last year, leaving me his sprawling, slightly dilapidated house, I knew I was in for a monumental task clearing out his hoard. The attic was a particular nightmare, filled with forgotten projects and dusty journals. That's where I found it. Tucked away under a tarp, it was a gleaming brass contraption, a sphere of polished metal latticework interspersed with smoky glass panels and glowing, dull amethyst crystals. Intricate copper wires snaked around its frame, connecting to a padded leather headpiece with optical sensors. It looked like something out of a steampunk sci-fi novel. In one of Sinclair's later, more erratic journals, he'd scribbled about the chronoscaphe, my greatest triumph, and my greatest burden. He warned of temporal bleed and the anchors of reality fraying. Naturally, I was hooked. One lonely evening, fueled by curiosity and a few too many beers, I decided to try it. I found a complex array of dials and levers. I just had to flick a main switch labeled activation. A low hum filled the attic, and the crystals pulsed with a soft, purple light. Taking a deep breath, I strapped on the headpiece. The world went dark, then exploded into vivid color. I was suddenly standing on the boardwalk of Santa Monica Beach, a place I hadn't visited since I was a kid. The sun was warm on my skin, the salty air filled my nostrils, and the distant cries of gulls were piercingly real. My mother, long gone, laughed as she pushed me on a swing set that used to be there. Every detail was perfect, tactile, overwhelming. I felt the gritty sand beneath my bare feet, tasted an imaginary ice cream cone. It wasn't a memory, it was happening. After what felt like hours, a jolt pulled me back. I ripped off the headpiece, gasping for breath. My attic was silent. My hands were shaking. I checked my watch. Only 5 minutes had passed. 5 minutes outside for what felt like a lifetime of perfect childhood bliss inside. I was astonished, terrified, and utterly captivated. Over the next few weeks, the chronoscaphe became my escape. I revisited moments of triumph, corrected imagined mistakes, even experienced entirely new adventures, exploring alien landscapes, fighting mythical beasts. Paula, my best friend, noticed my increasing detachment. "You look exhausted, Owen," she'd say, "like you're living another life." She wasn't wrong. I tried to explain it to her, but how do you describe a reality more real than reality itself? She just gave me worried glances, chalking it up to grief and isolation. But the lines began to blur. I'd be talking to Paula, and her face would momentarily shimmer, or a mundane object in my apartment would flicker with the purple glow of the chronoscaphe. I'd wake up in my bed, convinced I'd just spent years as a space marine, only to find the sun just barely rising. Sometimes I'd be pulled into an experience without the headpiece on, a terrifying flash of a memory, or a twisted nightmare that felt impossibly long before spitting me back into my ordinary life, gasping for air. Grandfather Sinclair's journals became my new obsession. His entries grew increasingly frantic, detailing his attempts to stabilize temporal anchors and prevent consciousness drift. He wrote of echoes and phantoms, of living entire lives only to realize they were just fleeting moments outside. His final entry was chilling. "It craves experience. It feeds. I can't tell if I'm still here or if this is just another layer." The experiences grew darker. The chronoscaphe stopped being an escape and became a prison. It didn't grant me new adventures anymore. It trapped me in relentless loops of my worst fears. I'd be suffocating in a pitch-black cave, the air dwindling, the pressure on my chest unbearable for what felt like millennia. I'd be endlessly falling or watching loved ones die in slow motion, unable to intervene. And each time, a split second outside would mean I'd lived and died 1,000 times in that fabricated hell. One morning, I woke up screaming, sweat-soaked, convinced I'd just spent decades reliving every failure of my life. I couldn't take it anymore. I stumbled into the attic, determined to destroy the hateful machine. I gripped a wrench, my hands trembling, ready to smash the glowing crystals. As I raised it, the attic dissolved. I was back on the Santa Monica boardwalk, the sun warm, the gulls crying. My mother laughed, pushing me on the swing. It was perfect. Too perfect. Then my mother's face shifted, subtly. Her eyes, instead of warm brown, glowed faintly purple, like the crystals. Her laughter was too loud, too prolonged, grating on my ears. The sand beneath my feet felt like glass shards. The world around me started to tear, revealing glimpses of brass and wire beneath the perfect illusion. I tried to scream, but no sound came out. I tried to run, but my legs were lead. I was trapped once again in a chronoscaphe loop, but this time it was fighting back, absorbing my attempt at defiance into its endless, terrifying cycles. I struggled, feeling the pressure of the headpiece on my scalp, even though I knew I wasn't wearing it. I don't know how long I was there in that collapsing, impossible reality. Hours, days, lifetimes. I just kept fighting, kept screaming into the void until finally, with a wrenching tear, I was back in my attic. The wrench lay on the floor untouched. The chronoscaphe hummed softly, its crystals glowing faintly purple as if nothing had happened. I was free. I was outside. I was safe. Or so I tell myself. Paula came over yesterday. I recounted the entire terrifying ordeal, every detail, every fear. She listened patiently, her expression concerned. When I finished, she patted my hand gently. "Owen," she said, her eyes soft, "you haven't been to Santa Monica since you were 5. Your mother died when you were 28, and you never found anything called a chronoscaphe in your grandfather's attic. We cleared it out together, remember? Just a bunch of old tax documents and broken lawnmowers." She smiled, a kind, reassuring smile. But her teeth, just for a split second, seemed too sharp, too white, and her eyes held that familiar, dull purple glow. I'm looking at her now, and she looks like Paula. But I swear, the color of her shirt is slightly different than it was a second ago. I don't think I ever left the chronoscaphe. I think this is just another layer, and I'm still trapped forever.
If you enjoyed this video, please hit the thumbs up button to like it. And please do subscribe to support the channel.